time and time again, classified information is leaked or peddled for political purposes to try to make the president look bad.
Should the Pentagon be in charge of deciding what reporters can report on?
No, I don't think so. Nothing stops reporters, you know.
Well, there is mounting backlash tonight over a new mandate that many journalists believe would sharply restrict reporting at the Pentagon. Let's talk about this tonight with George Washington University law professor Jonathan Turley. He is a Fox News contributor. Jonathan, thanks for being here. I want to read from one of these memos that's causing concern. The Pentagon media policy. Department of War information must be approved for public release by an appropriate authorizing official before it is released, even if it is unclassified. Unauthorized disclosure of classified national security information or controlled unclassified information poses a security risk that could damage the national security of the United States and place the Department of War personnel in jeopardy. Now, Secretary Hegseth on X on Friday said the press does not run the Pentagon, the people do. The press is no longer allowed to roam the halls of a secure facility, wear a badge and follow the rules, or go home. Representative Don Bacon posted this Saturday. This is so dumb that I have a hard time believing it is true. We don't want a bunch of Pravda newspapers only touting the government's official position. A free press makes our country better. This sounds like more amateur hour. I know you've kind of digested some of this, but your thoughts on this and what it means big picture.
Well, Brad, this is actually quite breathtaking in terms of its implications for the free press. There is no precedent for what they're doing here. Now, it is true that access is something that is a privilege. At the CIA, reporters, journalists are not allowed just to wander as widely as they do in the Pentagon. But the Pentagon has had a long tradition of allowing the media to work with its own representatives and getting the story right. Now, there have been times where the press has published what was classified information. Some of those cases are the most significant in our country, like the Pentagon Papers, that produced great reforms that informed the public of things that they had to know about. This measure is simply a bridge too far. It really does raise core press protections, and it would devastate the press corps in the Pentagon.
You know, I covered the Pentagon for 6.5 years, and I walked all over those 19.5 miles of corridor in the Pentagon talking to all kinds of officials. If officials came to us and said there is a national security imperative here, that this story not come out, we would obviously talk to our supervisors, but for the most part, people who covered the Pentagon knew the security implications and the danger of possibly putting people's lives at risk if any sort of classified story or story that could put them in jeopardy happened, and it was dealt with. Officials year after year after year dealt with back and forth with the press. This is different. This is, you have to sign this paper or you have to leave the Pentagon. You say, I acknowledge that the PFAC may be denied, revoked, that's the past, or not renewed if a person is reasonably determined to pose a security or safety risk to Department of War personnel or property. I acknowledge that such a determination may be based on the unauthorized access, attempted unauthorized access, or unauthorized disclosure of either classified or a controlled unclassified information. It goes a lot further. There is interpretation here, Jonathan, but it seems to go a lot further.
Well, the problem is that it has endless possibilities of interpretation. What does it mean to be a risk? The inclusion of what's called CUI information really bowled many of us over. I mean, that is unclassified information. And so what they're basically saying is if you publish anything that's not in the press release, is not the official statement of the Pentagon, you could be held responsible under this policy. That is going to create a stranglehold on the free press, and the cost is too great. As you say, Brady, I've worked, as you have, I've worked for 3 different networks. This has come up at many of those networks. They tend to deal with this informally. The Pentagon, if informed of a story, will say, hey, look, that's some classified material that could put lives at risk. The networks tend to, and newspapers tend to try to work with the Pentagon, not to kill the story, but to safeguard lives and interests that are raised to them. This is really limitless in terms of the level of control that would be exercised by people given access to this to the Pentagon.
Jonathan Turley, as always, thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.